What if the secret to better relationships wasn't better communication, more date nights, or knowing your partner's love language? What if it all came down to something much more internal, something that doesn't immediately seem romantic at all? Self-discipline? It might sound counterintuitive at first. After all, discipline conjures images of rigidity, rules, and restrictions. Relationships, in contrast, are often described in terms of spontaneity, connection, and emotional freedom. But when we dig deeper, we begin to uncover an unexpected truth. The quality of our relationships often mirrors the quality of the relationship we have with ourselves. And that relationship is, more than anything else, governed by self-discipline. Self-discipline isn't about punishing yourself. It's about caring enough about your future self to make good decisions today. It's about aligning your actions with your values, even when your impulses want to pull you in another direction. And in the context of a relationship, that kind of inner integrity can make the difference between short-term satisfaction and long-term fulfillment. It shapes how we respond to conflict, how we manage stress, how we express our needs, and how we handle the needs of others. It determines whether we act out of impulse or out of purpose. Think about the last time you had an argument with someone close to you. In the heat of the moment, emotions take the driver's seat. Words fly, tone sharpens, and for many of us, regret soon follows. But when someone has practiced self-discipline, they learn how to pause, to take a breath, to choose their response rather than being controlled by their reaction. That pause, brief as it may be, can change the entire trajectory of a conversation. It can turn a potential explosion into a moment of connection. That's not just emotional intelligence, that's the result of disciplined emotional regulation. The link between self-discipline and emotional regulation is profound. Our ability to stay calm under pressure, to empathize when we're irritated, and to listen even when we want to shout is rooted in our ability to control ourselves. And this ability isn't innate, it's trained. It's a habit that's built over time through small decisions that slowly rewire our behavior. Every time we resist the urge to snap back, every time we prioritize understanding over being right, we're exercising that muscle. And the stronger that muscle becomes, the more resilient our relationships become. Self-discipline also shows up in how we balance autonomy and intimacy. In healthy relationships, we need to be both connected and independent. That delicate balance requires intentional effort. When one partner becomes overly dependent, or when another becomes emotionally unavailable, it often reflects a lack of internal stability. Self-discipline is what helps us maintain our identity while still being emotionally available. It allows us to set boundaries without building walls. It gives us the strength to say no when necessary, and the compassion to say yes when it matters most. And what about trust? Trust isn't just about believing someone won't hurt you. It's about believing that they can manage themselves well enough to be a consistent, safe presence in your life. We trust people who show us that they won't let their worst day dictate how they treat us. We trust people who do what they say, who don't let temporary feelings sabotage long-term commitments. And all of that, again, boils down to self-discipline. To show up with integrity, day after day, regardless of mood, requires internal control. It requires doing the right thing, even when it's hard or inconvenient, or when no one else is watching. In romantic relationships, this consistency becomes the bedrock of safety. When you know your partner won't lash out just because they had a bad day or abandon a promise because they felt bored, you relax, you feel secure. That security nurtures vulnerability, and vulnerability is where intimacy thrives. Without self-discipline, security is fragile. Promises are conditional. Love becomes unstable. But when both partners practice inner discipline, the relationship becomes a place of refuge rather than tension. And there's more. Self-discipline impacts how we grow within our relationships. No relationship is static. People evolve, circumstances change, and challenges emerge. Growth requires effort, patience, and sometimes discomfort. It requires having difficult conversations, acknowledging mistakes, and committing to change. All of this is made possible through self-discipline. Without it, we get stuck in patterns. We avoid the hard talks. We blame, deflect, or withdraw. But when we're disciplined, we lean into the process. We take ownership. We choose the harder right over the easier wrong. Even the way we handle desire and temptation reflects our level of discipline. In a world saturated with distractions, fidelity isn't just about love, it's about restraint. Emotional and physical temptations are everywhere, and self-discipline is what allows someone to stay aligned with their commitment. It's not about suppressing desire, but about channeling it with integrity. The ability to recognize an impulse without acting on it, to say, "This isn't worth what I'd lose," is a profound act of love. It says, "I value what we have enough to protect it from my own fleeting urges." Then there's communication. Perhaps the most talked about element of any relationship. Communication is less about what you say and more about how and when you say it. Timing, tone, and intention all stem from self-awareness. And that self-awareness is nurtured by discipline. To hold space for another person's perspective, especially when it challenges your own, takes maturity. To express your needs clearly without manipulation or resentment requires thoughtfulness. Both of these traits flourish in someone who's practiced enough internal control to not just react, but reflect. Discipline also plays a role in how we support our partners. In the early stages of love, support often comes easily. We're eager to help, to encourage, to be present. But over time, life gets busy. Our own needs take priority. It's easy to let our partner's needs slip into the background. Showing up for someone consistently requires energy, and that energy has to come from somewhere. It comes from a life that is organized, purposeful, and stable. That's what discipline gives us. When we manage our own world well, we have more to give to the people in it. Love isn't just a feeling, it's a behavior. And behavior requires structure. And perhaps most importantly, self-discipline influences how we love ourselves. All of our relationships are filtered through the lens of our self-perception. If we're chaotic inside, it spills outward. If we can't rely on ourselves, we subconsciously assume others can't be relied on either. But when we treat ourselves with care, when we set standards and uphold them, we bring that stability into every relationship we touch. We stop looking to others to fill our voids, and instead, we meet them as whole people looking to share life, not complete it. So the next time you think about how to improve your relationships, look inward. Ask not just how you can change the dynamic, but how you can better manage yourself. Build habits that support your highest values. Create space for reflection. Practice patience. Show up when it's hard. Listen when you'd rather talk. Choose curiosity over judgment, and above all, commit to the slow, steady work of self-discipline. Because in doing so, you won't just become a better partner. You'll become the kind of person who builds and sustains extraordinary love.